anything you want?
Welcome back to the Docket Dodgers. I'm Wade Hall.
I'm Matt Hager.
We got a couple large stories today. Recap some of the things that happened this week.
Oh yeah, we got. We meant to talk about the Letcher County sheriff case last time, then we ended up forgetting. So let's try to we'll work it in this time.
Yeah, we were going to save it for the grand finale, but we never got around to the finale.
I know we talked about so much we forgot about it.
Well, so
okay. We're gonna start. We'll work it somewhere in the middle this time if you want to.
Okay.
All right. Okay. What we got going on though? Anyways, how did classes go? Was this your first full week of classes?
This was my first full week of classes. It was tough. It was a tough week.
It was tough. What? Yeah. Isn't this your 3L year?
It is. I've been used to waking up at noon and not going anywhere, and that little break between work and school spoiled me.
Right. Well, my 3L year, I felt like that I didn't have my 2L year was my toughest year. My 1L year was hard because it's hard to understand all the lingo that they're talking about. And sometimes a lot of these professors assume that you know what they're talking about, and you're like, I have no clue what you're talking about, even though if it's a simple legal thing. They want to assume that already know what they're talking about, and you have no clue. But I felt like my 2L year was my toughest year.
That baseline knowledge they expect you to have, because some people, they come in as paralegals or their parents are lawyers, and I didn't have that.
Oh yeah,
I didn't have
listen.
knowledge.
I call him my roommate, but the guy that lived beside of me, our apartments was like next door. He bust up in my apartment all the time and borrow like dishes and pots and pans, drinks, whatever he wanted. And I pretty much called him my roommate. He was from Tennessee, and his dad was the chief public defender in that county in Tennessee where he was from. And he came and he just knew all these concepts already. And I just felt like I was so far behind because he knew so much more than what I knew.
No, yeah, some people have that advantage. But once you catch up, the second year is just a lot of work. Those classes there's more specialized. You're not taking just like your basic constitutional law. You get to pick them, but they're tougher.
Right. All right. Well, what do we got first?
Well, you want to do the Hunter Biden lawsuit, or?
Yeah, we can do Hunter Biden. Yeah, and I've seen Hunter Biden's TikToks where he's where he's doing an interview with someone. I don't know who that guy is, but he's doing an interview with somebody.
Charlotte? Oh, dude. No, when it comes to like YouTube journalism, he did all gas, no breaks. It was like big on YouTube back in the day, and now he does Channel 5 News, and he shows up on location, and they just like interview the people there. So I would say he's one of the biggest YouTube journalists that there are.
Okay. And so what happened? I'm not familiar other than what Hunter Biden said in that TikTok. Is the only thing I know. It's the only knowledge I have about this.
Okay, well, he brought Hunter Biden on for an interview just to talk about, how his dad was president and doing crack cocaine and all that fun stuff that they were doing. And Hunter Biden did the interview. And during the interview, they talked about he brought up Jeffrey Epstein and how back in around 2016, it was either as Trump was becoming president or a little bit before, Epstein talked about how he set Melania Trump up with Trump, like he was the reason they knew each other. So that was one of his claims.
Oh, thanks for the rose, Lexi Barrett.
Thank you. That was one of his claims from Epstein, and then a bunch of news agencies reported it. So probably like the AP, Fox, like all kinds of news agencies reported it. And she has recently filed lawsuits against all of them, and they have retracted the story, blah blah blah, because you can't prove an opinion of a dead guy. Like, it's
Right.
impossible to say, oh, if this
Mhm.
happened or didn't happen. So in his interview with Channel 5, he brought it up, and she sent a cease and desist letter to him, claiming if he doesn't retract a statement, that she's going to sue him for $1 billion. That was
I, y- so we talked earlier about what the standards would be before we came on the air. You was talking to me about the standards for what under the principle what they could sue, how they can make a lawsuit like that. So what were those, Wade?
Yeah, we were talking about New York Times v. Sullivan. It's a
Hmm.
older Supreme Court decision. So defamation in the past was like common law handled by states, and it was like different in every state. And this came from the civil rights era, because the New York Times were reporting on these like Southern sheriffs and Southern like political people doing certain, I would say, racist, anti-civil rights stuff.
Hmm.
And they were reporting on it in New York. So these people would sue them in the state courts of like State Court of Alabama. And you could assume the State Court of Alabama might not be fair to the New Yorkers. So they took
Right.
this case, they took this,
Carpetbaggers.
yeah, they took the case all the way to the Supreme Court. And then you get Times v. Sullivan, and they differentiated between a private person and a public figure.
So would
So
you think Melania Trump's a public figure?
yeah, she was a public figure before she was the first lady. Now she is the most public figure. So the case was to protect First
Right.
Amendment rights. And talking about the president, talking about the first lady, that's like the number one reason the First Amendment was made, is to allow political discussion without fear of repercussion.
Right. Well, and one more time, what specifically did Hunter Biden say about uh, Melania?
That he was set up with Trump by Epstein. And
Oh well, okay.
and and that's repeating, like, I think it was Michael Wolff of like Newsmax or something like that, one of the
Okay. So,
random organizations.
so where do you
But
think this lawsuit's going to go?
well, to actual get payment, she's gonna have to get the jury, the fact finder, to agree, it is $1 billion worth of damages. I don't think that's
Right.
exactly, but that's not the reason that they have been doing these lawsuits. It costs more to defend the lawsuit than actually like pay if you were wrong. So
So it's all about hurting the other side financially,
but
hurting
yeah,
their pockets.
it's about bleeding them dry. And
Right.
they're going to have to prove actual malice. That's the legal standard, is that Hunter Biden knew it was false,
Hmm.
and that he purposely was doing it to harm her. And
Right.
when it's something that's been reported by other news agencies, it's hard to say, oh, I didn't know that was false, because the truth is an affirmative defense for
Right.
this sort of charge.
So do
And
you think Hunter Biden has some truth?
well, the truth is, like, if other people are reporting it, the guy said it himself, he's taking that opinion, like Epstein's opinion, and believing it. And if you believe
Right.
someone's opinion, like, there's nothing someone can do about your thoughts or your beliefs.
Okay. So it was his opinion that Epstein set Melania and Donald Trump up together.
If that's what he's saying, like,
Oh,
that's
okay.
what he
That's an
heard
awful
it.
wild opinion. Oh, he heard
Well,
it.
he heard it in the news. Like, these
Oh,
the news agencies have reported it. I got a list here. I'll read it to you of
okay.
like the people who did report it. So Epstein himself told people that he did it. That's
Hmm.
unverifiable. The
Right.
Business Insider, New York Times reported Epstein made such claims, but not backed by evidence. Michael Wolff claimed Melania met Trump through Epstein circles. It was unverified and denied by her. And Melania is saying she met him at a fashion week and it had nothing to do with Epstein. But they've sued a couple of organizations and they've like retracted the story.
Right.
Fox News Digital was the first to report on this cease and desist letter, but that's where this changes. He got back on Channel 5 News with the cease and desist letter and like read it and was like prepared to fight it the whole way.
Oh, I seen that where he said they asked if he was going to apologize or something or retract.
Yes.
And he said F that. That's not going to happen.
Exactly. So
okay. Yeah.
As you can imagine, the Bidens and the Trumps probably don't get along too well over the last.
I couldn't imagine why.
So we'll see where this goes. I'm not sure. She sent the cease and desist letter, so it hasn't been filed yet anywhere.
It's just a threat. At this point, it's just a threat.
Yeah, it's a threat at this point. And I don't know if they would want that headlines because, like, yeah, the $1 billion in damages will scare a lot of people to retracting. But, like, you're not suing a Fox News or AP who will do it just to save money. Like, you're going to be suing a YouTuber and a crackhead, so they're going to fucking they're going to fight you, dude. They're going to fight you the whole way. That's all I have on Hunter Biden.
Okay, what do you got next on the docket?
Next on the docket, I have the Meyer supermarket chain. There's a
this is a pathetic story. Pathetic.
Yeah, it broke about a year. I remember seeing it when it broke. It broke a little while ago, but the internet's really picked it up, like and some news agencies. So it's a PR nightmare for this grocery store supermarket chain. Have you ever been to a Meyer?
I've not been to a Meyer, but it's a grocery store, correct?
Yeah, it's a grocery store. I've never been to one either. I think they're Midwest.
Right.
But we got a video here and I'll pull it up. It's on X. So our fans out there right now watching, do you still call it? I call it Twitter. I call
it Twitter. It's always going to be Twitter. What do you all on TikTok? If you're on TikTok right now, what do you all call it? You all call it Twitter, or you guys switched over to the X by now?
X is just such a funny name.
Twitter. Lexi Bear says Twitter. I mean, it's hard to say X. It doesn't roll well. I think you should have picked a better name than X.
I think you should have too.
I think you should just stuck with Twitter because it's a tweet.
Well, it's name recognition. Once you get rid of brand recognition, it's tough on people.
All right. Well,
you can set it up however you want to set it up, and I got it ready to go.
I wonder if it saved the presets I did last time. It did not save my presets. Nope. There it is. Go.
Okay. So this is the video of him getting arrested, and backstory, he's an employee. I think he may have some disabilities, and he was like eating food, and they allowed him to eat food until he could be arrested. And this is the arrest.
Oh wow, how sweet.
So we have James here. Who's James? Right here. Right here. Okay. He is he works in our deli department. Okay. And we found out that he's just been taking like orders of chicken and fruit cups and stuff like that off the floor
For 110?
Yep.
All right. James, do you have anything on you need to be aware of?
Not
Don't reach for it if you do. Don't reach for it if you do.
Okay, so I have a Sharpie and a box cutter in this pocket. All I have in this pocket is my phone and my earbuds, and then in my back pocket I have my wallet.
Go ahead and stand up for me.
Okay. All right, just go ahead and put your hand on the wall for me. I'm just gonna take everything out. We'll get it with you.
Thanks, Lexi Bear, for the roses.
All this stuff yours? Like the box cutter, that's not Meyer property or anything?
That should be Meyer property.
Yeah, that is. So then I can stay here with them.
Yeah.
All right. Anything in your shoes or anything like that? Nope. You want to put your hands behind your back? Okay. You can put your palms together and drop that. Put your palms together. Palms together. Palms together.
So, and then they arrest him. But
So this was a guy with special needs.
it seems
Right.
that's what I've been seeing on the internet. I'm not like 100% certain over it, but he's clearly just a kid anyway. And
And other than trying to reprimand him or say, "Hey, we've caught you multiple times stealing this food," and it's food. That's the problem. That's my main problem. It's food.
well, that's the issue is they never talked to him first. They didn't say don't do this.
No, they built a case on him. They followed him and watched him, and then stacked the case on him, and that's horrible.
So, and this happened in Seven Hills, Ohio. This manager described the things he stole as chicken tender orders.
I cannot believe that.
Yeah. And I think it's crazy to do that. To like, if at least, if you're going to, if it's something to arrest him, I don't know, tell him don't do this after the first time.
Right.
Fire him after the second time. Why wait for months and then have him arrested there?
Right. Lexi Bear asked, "Are you a criminal defense attorney or like a injuries attorney?" Lexi, I can definitely help you with both. If you're in Kentucky or West Virginia, let me know, and I can definitely help you with both. I might not be able to give you specific legal advice, but I can give you general legal advice and point you in the right direction. All right, go ahead.
And I can just tell you what's going on YouTube.
But what really is horrible about this whole employee? What's the employee's name?
I'm just having employee. Michigan Live says he's an employee, 19-year-old deli worker with autism, so they might not want to put his name out there.
One thing is he's this kid that works at this Meyer that they built this case on to have him arrested. He is 19 years old. He has autism. You think that these store managers and these people who worked at this Meyer store would have a little bit more courtesy and respect to go up to someone who has autism and say, "Hey, you should not do the things that you're doing. You're going to get fired if you do that," instead of building a criminal case around it and having him arrested. I really hope this prosecutor takes all this into account.
I hope so too. So Myers is based in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and they released a statement about it. They said, "We take this very seriously, recognize the situation should have been handled differently. Earlier this year,
It should have been.
We implemented a new policy to make sure this doesn't happen again. We learned a great deal from our experience and hold ourselves to a higher standard and are committed to making sure our actions reflect how we want to treat others."
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe they need to think about that. I mean, that's horrible.
It is horrible. And it's just on the body cam footage, you see that manager there and how he's handling the situation. And he's like happy with what he's doing, it seems.
I know, yeah.
And that's what I want to know. If that's the store I shopped at every day and this happened, there's no way I would go back.
Oh no way.
Want to move on to a conspiracy?
Oh, I love conspiracies. You guys like conspiracies out there? I love conspiracies. Which one do you have?
This is the death of Hulk Hogan.
Hey, we got a a huge superstar, Hulk Hogan, that passed away, and now we're finding out that it may not have been an accident, that it may have been actually malpractice.
Mm-hmm. So this comes from the Clearwater police department. They said to TMZ when they were looking into Hulk Hogan's death, it remains ongoing, but they've been talking to family members, and he had some sort of nurse rehab person with him, and
Mm-hmm.
near the time
It's
of
an
his death,
occupational therapist.
yeah, occupational therapist. When he stopped breathing, the therapist told responding officers that he was a victim of medical malpractice. She said during a recent operation, surgery to repair his heart and neck procedure, the surgeon severed his phrenic nerve, which that stimulates your diaphragm and controls your breathing. So
Mm-hmm.
they apparently cut the nerve that allowed him to breathe. And after the surgery, he was just unable to get oxygen.
Right, and so what happened is he went in for a surgery prior. Hulk Hogan did, and for a neck and spine injury. So he had this neck injury. They went in
Yeah.
and they thought that they possibly had nicked that phrenic nerve. And like you said, that phrenic nerve controls your breathing. So if your phrenic nerve is severed, then you cannot breathe. And
Yeah.
so whenever he collapsed, I think the occupational therapist said at the scene that, hey, this could be malpractice because this is not right. And they said that might be picked up on body cam footage.
I believe it would be because she was talking to the police officers. If the one she was talking to had their cameras on, and they might not have, because he's an older person, and it probably seems like natural causes. That's what most
Well,
people thought
I think Brooke Hogan seems to think that the body cam is on, and the body cam footage is going to show that. Brooke Hogan is also asking for all the medical records. She wants to all the body cam footage, and she's trying to get all the 911 calls right now. She wants them all to be publicly released.
Okay, no, that's a good first step.
And I want to tell you what, and if you think about a medical malpractice lawsuit against a celebrity like Hulk Hogan, how much money do you think a medical malpractice lawsuit like that would potentially be worth?
Well, Hulk Hogan was going to earn money the rest of his life, so that loss of income to the family, plus the pain and suffering of losing a father, like the patriarch of the family.
Yeah, I mean the economic damage is just so that's just so great. I mean, I don't know what the average life expectancy that most of these courts, impugn that an average person is expected to live. Hulk Hogan's was he in his 60s or 70s? How old was Hulk Hogan when he passed away?
He was older. I don't know how old.
Let's see real quick. See what Hulk Hogan's age was. He was 71.
Yeah.
So I wonder what the life expectancy in Florida is.
Well, Florida's probably like 32, but
at 76.1.
So at least 5.
So at least 5 years of economic loss. I might if he's earning $10 million a year, it's still $50 million, Wade.
No, and I would assume Hulk Hogan makes consistent money.
Right. Yeah, I would too. Even on things that he's done in the past, I'm sure he's getting some sort of royalties from TV shows that he's been on or movies that he's been on. Anytime someone like that charged with RCW NA's playing with PSU. Okay. Hang on, guys. I'll get to your all's questions in 1 second. But anyways, you think about all the royalties that Hulk Hogan should be able to collect. Just off of TV shows and movies. I don't know if he's still getting some sort of check from professional wrestling. I know sometimes that places like that will let you draw some sort of retirement, even if you've only been there for 5 years. I know they do that for professional athletes on the NFL and NBA side. So
I know WWE is a stingy organization, but they I think with someone like Hulk Hogan, like one of the greats
Mhm.
like that, he would have consistent earnings from them. Even if it's not in the form of a retirement, they would just bring him on to do a show here or there, like to
Right.
announce something or do something like that. And he
Yeah.
has done that.
Yeah. So I mean, just even think of speaking engagements, all the income that he could have made, and that's just one aspect. When we look at like a medical malpractice lawsuit or a wrongful death lawsuit, that's just one aspect you look at is the economic loss. Not only like you have loss of consortium, for his wife. I think he's remarried. A lot of people remember Hulk Hogan from his first wife that was on the show with him, but he's actually is remarried to a different woman now.
Yeah.
And I think her name's Sky Hogan. I think that's her name.
Mm-hmm.
But they cremated Hulk Hogan, and they've not even they want to cremate Hulk Hogan, and they've not done that yet because of this is ongoing investigation onto his body.
Oh, you're gonna need medical experts probably to do a full autopsy and figure out exactly the cause of death.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
he was known to have some pretty debilitating back injuries, I think, from his wrestling days.
Right.
So maybe some fused spines, like discs and stuff like that. So I'm sure the surgery was related to his professional wrestling. It's a pretty damaging on the body.
Right.
When you
Yeah.
have an older person, someone who's 71, and you're doing a surgery like that, is there always a risk of they might not get it right just because of their age? They might not heal properly.
I know a lot of defenses to medical malpractices. Is it something that would normally go wrong in the course of doing this type of surgery? And I'm sure that's if that did happen, that's going to be some sort of defense. Is that Hulk Hogan was elderly, his
And an
body wasn't holding. He was an athlete. He brought a lot of this damage onto himself, and he had so much damage that when we were trying to repair, this is what happened to Hulk Hogan. But I'm sure that that's the typical defense to medical malpractice is that one is this is something that could go wrong in the course of this type of surgery. This is a common thing that goes wrong in this type of surgery.
I mean, I would think it would have to be if the occupational therapist that is there is like, this was what happened. Like,
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing. Is occupational therapist a medical expert?
I don't know.
To
I
I
don't
mean,
even
a
know
physical
what it is.
therapist, yeah, I don't think and I think that those statements are mostly hearsay anyways, bringing it in, and then you also gotta think about that those statements might be defamation in a way. How does the occupational therapist know that's what happened?
Mhm.
Um, I know Hulk Hogan passed away, and I know a lot of people I feel like we've had more years with Hulk Hogan left, and people would like to see him die a more natural way than he had died.
Mm.
But it's a tragic situation, and everyone wants to point fingers at fault and stuff. But how much weight do you give to an occupational therapist?
I don't know. I don't know what the qualifications to be one are. A
It's
lot of these
mostly like a physical therapist. That's what
yeah.
occupational therapist and physical therapy is about the same.
So, what would they know about surgery? I would say
That's
not
my thing.
much.
What would they know? Not much. And we're doing a lot of speculation based upon the words of an occupational therapist.
Yeah, we are. We definitely are. When it comes to hearsay, it happened as she was like trying to get help for him. Is that
Hmm.
is that like an
Yeah,
exception of excited utterance? Like,
excited utterance. You might have some sort of excited utterance there, but my thing is the occupational therapist said on the body cam that this was medical malpractice. One, the occupational therapist is not a surgeon. Two, they're not some sort of medical expert that they're going to know what's going to happen. So I don't think that should even come in for a jurist to even hear, for your jury to even hear, because
it's too prejudiced.
it's too prejudiced. And and the jury might find weight to that because she's an occupational therapist, but in reality, how much does the occupational therapist really know?
Yeah. I agree. And when it comes to occupational therapists or even these celebrity doctors, when I think of like like Michael Jackson's doctor, uh,
Hmm.
these people are on the home team side. Like they're not. That's their paycheck. Why would you not
Right.
say be like, oh, it was someone else? Maybe we don't know what the occupational therapist did. You know.
Okay, I think we're gonna go a little bit more local this time, aren't we?
A little more local.
Yeah, Lexi Bear. Hey guys, everybody's out there in TikTok land. I'll get to y'all's questions here in a minute. I see a lot of questions going through, but if you can, guys, make sure you're liking this live. Make sure you're sharing this live. Get it out. We like to get more people on here. This is the last live that I have to do on TikTok, where I have to go over 25 minutes to be able to multi-stream to all different platforms. And so we just surpassed it, Wade. We're at 30 minutes right now. So next time we do this, we can go live on TikTok, and they'll be able to see Wade next time, and just not me.
Nice. I know
So
that's
you
what
guys
we're
will get the
waiting
money
for.
shot. Yeah,
That's
they were
what we're
waiting for it to Wade. But guys, we're going to go a little bit local this time, and we're going to go to Letcher County, and there's been some recent news in the judge shooting. And we all know that Mickey Stines, the sheriff there, came into the judge chambers and unalived that judge. And we have some more information. There's been someone come forward in the community there. I think her name is Tya Adams. I first seen her on Hillbilly Crime. She came on. She made a Facebook video. Hillbilly Crime had her come on her show, and they did. And her and Hillbilly Crime actually have done some other interviews with people like Gavin Fish on this topic, and now I think it's been picked up nationally, and more national people are picking it up now. But this Tya Adams has come forward and said that basically that Judge Kevin Mullins is running a brothel out of the out of the jail, and he was one of the ringleaders on it, and they were controlling it through the courthouse. Now, I want to preface this with say this is all allegedly. Me and Wade don't know this is true, but
No.
this is what this witness is coming out and saying. And if it is true, that's something that might be a bigger defense for Mickey Stines.
Is it well?
Well,
You
when
know,
we talk about it, I'm not saying that Mickey Stines is going to ever get off on. I don't think that he will get off on these charges. But what I do think is going to be happen to Mickey Stines is I think that Mickey Stines will be able to lessen how serious what charge he ends up with and how long he has to spend in jail. And this might be one of the things that they use.
mm-hmm. I definitely think this is to get it down to a lesser. We looked at the different levels of murder in Kentucky on our last
Mm-hmm.
show prior that we covered. Or was it Mickey Stines? We talked about someone murdering in Kentucky. We talked a
It
lot
was Mickey
about that.
Stines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Mickey. Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
a
we've done
news
so many. We've done Brian Epperson, and now we're on Mickey Stines, and we've got a lot
Mhm.
to cover, though.
I have a News Nation video
Sure.
where they have the victim, I believe, talking, and it's her allegations against the judge. But if you recall, when we had Hillbilly Crime on, and just from other people pleading guilty of like that former bailiff who pled guilty to having those relations with prisoners in the judge's chambers. Like this is
This is not an isolated situation. It seems like there's more and more evidence in favor of it, even though we don't know if it's true or not. It's not been proven yet, and we've not heard anyone else say anything about this other than witnesses coming forward.
yeah,
But
the culture down there just seems to be a
yeah,
problem. So we got the video. I'll pull it up here. And you can organize it how you want.
I'll have to have that a little bit bigger. Hang on 1 second.
That's what she said.
There we go.
Okay, I'll play.
Longtime Kentucky judge was shot to death last September in his own chambers. It was hard to believe that the gunman was the sheriff of that very county. I still can't believe it when I say it. The sheriff, the acting sheriff, shot the acting judge. That's the sheriff right there. That's his mugshot. Sheriff, his name is Shawn Mickey Stines. He shot the judge who's named Kevin Mullins. And there's really no denying the sheriff did it because it was captured on video surveillance right in the judge's chambers. You see the sheriff hold up the gun, and obviously we don't play the whole thing, but it's all on camera. And there is a possible twisted sex trafficking scandal in the small Kentucky town involving high-level law enforcement demanding sex from inmates. So when we first saw this happen, we all wondered, what could have been going on behind the scenes? Why would the sheriff kill the judge? Well, it's all unraveling now. You've heard audio interviews from victims here on the show in the past. They revealed a glimpse into just how dirty and corrupt this county may be. And tonight, you are about to hear from a former inmate and alleged victim of the judge, Judge Mullins, a woman. Her name is Tya Adams, who goes into explicit details but what she says the judge would offer her in exchange for sex. I was in Kentucky, again, just sort of determined to figure out what was going on here to cause this. We went to the town in Kentucky. We met with the women. This first one, her name is Tya. She says that she had sex with the judge to get out of trouble, and it happened again and again and again and again. Listen to what she said. What was your first interaction with the judge?
I knew him before because my sister worked for the Commonwealth Attorney for a really long time. Like I grew up in his office and stuff. So whenever he got elected to be Commonwealth Attorney, and we moved over into City Hall, and then Kevin was the assistant Commonwealth Attorney, and his office was like across the road from it. And I was kind of like informal intern in there, like learning office management and stuff. And I went over to his office to learn how to take a deposition. And that was the first interaction that I had with him as far as the sex and stuff goes.
What happened?
I gave him oral with my shirt pulled down. And whenever we were done, he threw money in my face, told me to clean myself up, and reminded me that I knew better than to tell my sister.
And what was his job at that time?
Assistant Commonwealth Attorney. And then after that point, that's when he started introducing me to his friends, the other lawyers. And we would do sex parties and perform shows and have sex with them for money, things like that.
Where were the parties?
Various places. There are different cabins. There's an apartment down like toward Thornton that they would use that's got like mirrored ceilings and a bidet and a sex swing and all the things. Yeah.
Did you feel like you could say no?
No. No, and they would make sure to make you feel as small and degraded and belittled as possible.
Before we go forward, she said they had a cabin near Martin County. I feel like that's easily provable.
I do too, yeah.
If there's a cabin there and they have all these fixtures she's talking about. So right. I would like to see someone go look into that to see if it's actually there.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to pause the TikTok live because of the words she's saying.
Yeah. I was worried about what I said earlier. I get us whatever, but I think this is going to.
Okay. We got 5 minutes. Go.
Okay.
To take your power away,
What sort of things would they do?
But also, like, I have to say, like, we were having fun too. Like we were doing drugs, we was doing coke, doing a lot of cocaine, partying, like it wasn't like they were just like, they weren't raping, like physically, like, what you people think about when they hear the word rape. It was consensual, but it was the thing that we were so young, and then they used it against us and to destroy our lives later.
How so?
With the legal system. And CPS, systematically removing your whole life, piece by piece.
Did they ever tell you that you couldn't say anything?
Yeah. I mean, that was just a given, and like who would believe it anyway, because the whole town was doing it, nobody cares. They're all swingers. It's all a big party to them. It was just like so normal.
Did you ever have sex with him after he became judge?
Yeah.
When he was the judge?
Yes. I've had sex with him in the chambers. I've had sex with him upstairs.
You had sex in the chambers?
Yes.
How did that?
It was not the room that's on film. that's on that where that camera is, where the murder and stuff happened. That's not the room that was always the chambers. I don't know. Like I think it might be behind that where it was, but there was like a different desk and everything in there. That's not the same room.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our news.
So that was
All
the
right, let me
news
get the
nation
TikTok guys
report.
back in here.
Crazy allegations from
Yeah.
her there, but it's stuff we've heard on the internet, on the streets from the people there.
Well,
for a
it's what the
while.
whole bailiff that used to be in there. The whole
Mhm.
was he the bailiff?
Yeah, well, the sheriff used to be the chief bailiff, and one of the other like prison guard bailiffs that like would take them to and from the cells. He was the one that pled guilty for being involved in the similar type of scheme of quid pro quo. You give me this, you get out of trouble. And and you know, if this is the sheriff's defense that I shot him because of this, dude, like the sheriff knew about it the whole time. There's no way you're the head bailiff and become the sheriff and you don't know that this is going on. Like,
I don't know. And you know, I asked Hillbilly Crime. I don't know if you remember this or not, but I asked Hillbilly Crime on her when we did the interview with her if I thought that the sheriff shot the judge to cover something up, and she didn't think that he did, but I see that he did.
well, I think it leans more that way because they had a deposition in a civil case, right? Like right before the judge got shot. And I don't think the sheriff liked whatever the judge was going to say or did say in the civil case. I
think it's what it is. I think that's what it is.
And now the sheriff can claim, oh, I did this because I'm the good guy. I'm doing the right thing. But I think he's just covering up whatever he did himself. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that this is to cover something up. I don't think that this was that he just had I think that his attorneys right now are trying to say that the Bartleys are trying to say that he had a moment where he wasn't like lucid or had an unlucid moment.
He had a mental break from this horrible situation, and that was the only thing he could do to stop it. I think that's what they're going to say.
Yeah, and I'm here to tell you that he's seen something on that phone. His whole everything, and I think that asking for the judge's phone, I think he already knew when he went into that chamber that he was going to do that. That he was going to ask for the phone. And I think whatever he found on that phone verified what he thought was going on.
Yeah. No, that very well could be true, that he just premeditated this whole thing. He knows the judge's plans. He knows where the judge had lunch and where he's going to be. He came there right after lunch. He knew he was going to be there. Now, I don't know if he knew what he was going to do when he got there, but he for sure knew exactly where he would be. And he went
I agree
straight
with
for the
that.
phone. And he had his own phone. Why did he go for the judge's phone?
Well, he said, I think this is what's going on around the community, is that he was trying to get a hold of someone and they weren't answering his phone calls. So he asked to borrow the judge's phone to make the phone call for the judge's phone to see if he could get him to answer. And I think that he knew that he was going to do that before he walked in there. I think that he was going to come up with some sort of story that he was going to use to get the judge's phone. So that way, when he got the judge's phone, he can look through and verify what he thought was going on. And I think that's what's happened.
Yeah, I would love to see what comes out on that phone. When this finally goes to trial, they're going to have to have it.
I wonder if the Stines' attorneys have asked for the phone, or is there something on there that their client has probably told them not to subpoena that phone because of what they might find against Mickey Stines.
Well, we're still in the pre-trial motions. You think if they've filed any discovery, if the phone would be on it? I would say, I would say no. I would say they wouldn't ask.
Well, I'm just going to tell you this. I just recently had a case that I had a person that was arrested for possession with intent to deliver. There was 3 individuals at a scene, and you remember this case, well, you know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
They found these 3 individuals at a scene, and they found 4 cell phones, and so they arrested them and said the reason why we're arresting you is because we found the drugs at the scene, even though it wasn't on no particular person. We found it near the scene, but you guys are 3 individuals and you have 4 cell phones, so that means that you must be doing some sort of trafficking. That you're using those cell phones for some sort of trafficking, because why else does 3 individuals have 4 cell phones? I'm gonna tell you right now, Wade. Me walking down the street right now, if you stopped me and searched me, I have 2 cell phones on me, and that's not because I'm trafficking. It's because I've got a work phone and a personal phone.
I
But
just think you're
anyways,
suspicious.
so I thought about using the you can there's a program called Cellbrite that attorneys can use, and law enforcement use it too. That they use this Cellbrite to hook the cell phones to the Cellbrite and download the information, download the data about the all the messages that were sent on the cell phone. But I decided not to do that, and it's not because my client told me not to do it. It's just I didn't know what I was going to run into and find, and so that's the reasons why I didn't do it.
Well,
And that might be the same reason here, because if I'm the Bartleys, I mean, if you look at that video and you're looking down at that video and you see him scrolling, and all of a sudden his mood and his demeanor just stops after he scrolls. He's like he sees something on there that says, "Hey, this is." I mean, it changes his whole opinion, his whole outlook, and that's when he gets up and he does it. And I think at one point, is he still not holding the cell phone when he stands up, and then he puts it down to.
I think so. So the original video, when it first happened, it was everywhere. Now it's hard to find the full one without
Somebody
really,
talking over top of it.
yeah, we're really
Some yahoos like me and you trying to talk over top of it.
Yes, exactly. It's like, I want to pause it here, have the best quality. No one seemed to be able to see what's on the phone from just zooming in or camera editing. It's the camera's just not good enough. But you're right. He claimed to I'm going to borrow your phone and call somebody. But that's clearly not what he's doing. He's looking through the phone. Like he's aggressively scrolling through the phone, looking for something.
Do we have anything else left on the docket, Wade?
That is
Let's
all
not be like
that
last.
I have pulled up.
Let's not be like last time, me and you.
And forget the important ones. No, these were the biggest ones that we got.
Okay.
I have something called flock camera. Have you ever heard about this? So
yeah, flock cam. See, we about forgot it. Flock cam. Yeah.
I think flock cam is a pretty interesting story. It's an automated license plate readers. And they put them on, I don't know, in cities like intersections and stuff like that. Solar powered. They use 4G, 5G, and they capture license plates and other identifying informations and give it to law enforcement to deter crimes and reference data with the FBI, like missing person, Amber Alert stuff. And they say they only work with local communities and they've had a sit down interview and they were asked, are you sending this data to the federal government? And they're like, no, that's not what we do.
No, man.
No, not us. But it recently came out that they have been working in conjunction with Border Patrol and been using that money to track down probably illegal immigrants. I would say they would probably say stop terrorism or something like that. But the fact they lied about it means they know that.
I think they doubled down on their lie too. I think at one point they said they asked them if they were doing that, and they said no, we're not giving no information to the feds. And I think they came back again and asked them if they were doing it after they found out that it happened with the Border Patrol. And I think they tried to blame it on a local police department doing it.
They did. They tried to pin it off on Loveland Police. And the police chief came out and disputed that recently. I don't know if you saw that, but that happened a couple of days ago. He was like, nah, that's not us. We didn't do that.
And so what these flock cameras are, these surveillance cameras they have just put up everywhere, and they have facial recognition technology.
they database it, like use large language models like AI, and like this person was here, this person is here, and I think it's mostly for license plate readers. I think that's what it's
Right.
good at. But the technology to track people is getting better and better.
Listen to this, man. The Flock Safety uses automatic license plate readers, and they scan. They're in over 5,000 communities, and they do 20 billion vehicle scans a month.
Yeah. Well, it makes it easier to pull people over for it's out of state drivers. You instantly get the database of who's paid the registration, like who has a suspended license, that kind of stuff. But they get it wrong all the time. Like you'll hear a story of the automatic license plate reader. This car stolen out of Arizona, but it was not Arizona. They read the license plate wrong, and like they just like pull over an innocent family doing a felony stop, like gun pointed at them, or a rental car or something like that. The issue here is this Loveland Police Department saying they didn't do it, and and Flock saying they did share the data. There's been a couple FOIA requests to the Loveland Police, and they haven't came back with any results yet. But the police chief and the people there are saying we didn't share it. It was the company that shared it.
Okay. So this creates mass surveillance of ordinary people who haven't done anything wrong, and data can be shared across jurisdictions and with federal agencies. And also, they're trying to challenge it that it's a warrantless tracking, and it violates the Fourth Amendment.
Well,
and,
it violates some state statutes too. So California has a state bill. State law enforcement agencies are barred from sharing license plate reader data with out-of-state public agencies or federal entities. And other states, maybe Colorado, have similar laws, but it seems like the local police or Flock themselves are sharing this data with federal authorities.
All right. In Norfolk, Virginia, a federal judge ruled that using Flock cameras citywide counts as a search under the Constitution and may require warrants going forward. This reminds me of the case that I don't know if you've ever heard of the case. You've been on this case in your constitutional law, Wade, but the case where the police officers go out and they put a tracker on someone's car that's parked on a street corner.
Okay, I know this one. Is that Smith v. Maryland? I want to say something like that.
Might be. You're closer to it in time than I am.
Yeah,
but they ruled that it wasn't a search.
It wasn't a search. I don't think the Flock cameras are an unconstitutional search.
I don't think so either. I think that's more of a search than what a Flock camera would be, because Flock cameras are, and I hate talking like this because I mean I'm a criminal defense attorney, but I mean if you're going to rule that that putting a tracking device on someone's car is not a search, a warrantless search, but you're going to say that it is a search for someone who's walking down the sidewalk in public, that's a search. I just don't see it.
Well, it goes back to like your interpretation of the Fourth Amendment, if it's an unreasonableness or an intrusion of property. So when you put that tracking device on a car, it's the public, you gave yourself up to public. When you're in public, you have no right to privacy because you volunteered yourself to be there. But when the cops put a tracking device on your vehicle, they're physically intruding onto your personal property, which I think is a violation of the Fourth Amendment.
I just don't see how it's not a violation of the Fourth Amendment.
Yeah, and a lot of these agencies, they get warrants to put tracking devices on vehicles now. But with this Flock thing, I think it's more than like someone taking your picture in public, like the cops following you in public. It's creating this network of tracking your every move. Every street you go down, it tracks your every move in a way that a person couldn't do. And I think it's that advanced technology, like the Kylo case of like using the thermal imagery to look into your home. I think it's this advanced technology used to track you specifically. and
Right.
and that's what they ruled in Riley v. California with tracking your cell phone. That your cell phone's so special. It's with you no matter what. It's like an extension of the human body now, and you should have a heightened inspection of privacy with your cell phone, just because it shows exactly where your movements are, and there should be a warrant to track your exact movement. This flock system, it will just know where you work, where you go. If you vary from that schedule, it's going to know everything about you. If there's a citywide camera system that's communicating not through people but through artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. That is United States v. Jones that we just talked about on the tracking, and I got it wrong. In 2012, it was decided that was a search.
So
I remember reading one. I was in law school, and maybe I had a bad professor. I don't know, but I remember reading one. I was in law school that they said it wasn't a search. I just don't see how it's not.
So is that the one where they put the tracking device on the drugs or the car?
On the Jeep.
On the Jeep. It was like a Jeep parked in a parking lot. They put a tracking device on it.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember that not being a search.
Yeah, I do too. But and just a quick little Google search here. You know how Google has that AI. I was making sure I wasn't saying. And it says that it says Jones set a bright line rule that physically placing a GPS tracker on a car without a warrant is an unconstitutional search. The court emphasized that technology enabling continuous long-term monitoring is different from just following someone for a short distance. Okay, that's what the difference is. Okay, we're not talking about Jones. We're talking about a different case. They were following someone for a short distance.
Okay,
That's
why I think this camera system might have that, because it's such a long-term, your everyday movements tracking.
Mm-hmm.
Not remembering the case law names, but I think that's what matters the most.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I just knew there was a case when I was in law school that they were talking about that there was a GPS tracker placed on a vehicle and it was not a search, and I just remember that just blowing my mind. So I knew there was a case out there like that. But what Jones says is that if you're going to use it continuous and long term, that is an unconstitutional search. But if you're just using it for a short distance, that is okay.
And I think that's why I remember. So Smith v. Maryland was the PIN register case of like calling, but United States v. Jones, it was in the U.S. Court of Appeals, District of Columbia. So I think it was that Maryland DMV area, and that's why I remember.
Yeah.
The other case was like they put a tracking device on like a crate or something. But the person took that crate inside their home, and they said that was too far. Like, you can't put like listening and tracking devices in something that someone takes into their home.
I agree with that, though.
I do too.
Yeah.
But other people say they voluntarily took it into their home, but they didn't know.
All right. Is that all we have, Wade?
That's all that I got, unless you have anything.
That's all that I don't have anything. You know, it's a breath of fresh air that means you're not doing sports law, even though I love to do it.
I mean, I had one of that NFL player, I think, on meth or crack. He went on like a.
Oh, I seen that. Yeah, you sent that to me.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to talk about. And I still want to.
Well, I'm off of TikTok now. I stopped TikTok because after I paused it and then I came back from being unpaused, I lost every bit of my audience, and I was sitting there with 0 people. So I just went ahead and ended it.
We need to do one on the Trail Suggs brandishing case, because this has good body cam. So I think that we should have that on the next one.
What we do then? We'll see you guys again on Monday, I guess, and we'll do that one.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. We're going to end this live stream now. This has been the Docket Dodgers. I'm Matt.
I'm Wade.
Okay. Until next. We'll see you guys. Bye bye.